In our last installment examining the racial fantasies of Jason Unruhe, we saw how Jason Unruhe was culturally appropriating the indigenous Sami for his own political purposes. The Sami are light-skinned people who live near the Arctic Circle in Scandinavia and Russia and were used by both Finland and the Soviet Socialists to fight the Winter War from 1939 to 1940. Jason Unruhe's real name, is not of Sami origin in any way, shape, or form. Nor does he have any genetic connection to the Sami. He is a fat, lumpy, shit-skinned, white, Western Stalinist meme from suburban Ontario, Canada. The nearest he is drawn to the Sami race was a YouTube review of the Disney animated cartoon, Frozen, where he protested Sami people looked more like him than those in the cinema film. This is, of course, entirely self-serving, as Jason Unruhe is purely doing this to establish a non-existent link to the Sami so he may pose as an indigenous third-world person with which to club the rest of us poor suckers over the head. It does not work, Jason Unruhe. You are still to provide any evidence of your Sami heritage other than a video about Disney horse shit. What Jason Unruhe is attempting to do is lay down a false background of an indigenous heritage so he may represent from his high hobby horse of third worldism. This is known as transracialism, and it has become very common traditional members of the left. Transracialism is the act of leftist snowflakes adopting and appropriating other races through diet, speech, dress and other forms such as tattooing and dance. It is wholly an act of bullshit. Here are other examples of transracialism.
I would like to welcome all of you here tonight and thank all of you for coming. I would especially like to thank Gucci and UNICEF for making this evening a reality for me. I don't think we're on the grounds of the United Nations by chance. And there's something poetic about the fact that we are no longer in America, but we are on a piece of land that belongs to the world. I decided to investigate for myself, and I ended up going on the journey of a lifetime.
Rating what those things are is false. And some of it's so spectacularly false. And they've said it about people I love. False things. You gotta consider the source. You have to consider the source. Consider the source. Consider the source. Consider the source. Consider the source.
Really? Okay, I can't wait to see you. That's going to be great. Fantastic. What time? 12 o'clock? My wife is from Spain. And she said, blah, blah, blah. And blah, blah, blah. I don't mean to be racist when I put that accent on there, by the way.
Ilaria, very nice to meet you.
Now, how do you say? You say Ilaria?
Ilaria.
Do people call you Hillary?
Sometimes, and you know, it's the same name,
Right.
so it's fine. It means happy. Family lives in Spain.
Okay.
And I have moved to New York when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
I went to
Your
NYU.
English is
Well, I grew up
impeccable.
speaking both English and Spanish.
Okay.
So, so yes.
But
And my
both
children,
parents are Spanish.
my family is mixed of a bunch of
Okay.
different things.
What do you do? Oh, you do the flamenco. You are very Espanol.
So my wife will be in the house and she'd be like, I have to pee every 5 minutes. I can't believe it.
That was as close as he could get to Spain, to my family. 35 or 40 of my family members come from Spain.
We're going to go to España to see my family.
Oh,
He's
you're gonna
never
bring
been
him
to Spain.
He's never.
Well, we brought Spain to him for the wedding, but now he's got to go to.
From the suburbs to the hood. I was not anything like other black people. They were all hood rats and they were all ghetto. They all act like monkeys.
Her school was predominantly African American. She started to say very racist things in public. Like, I hate black people's hair, they're dirty. She would call them the N-word.
It made me feel good to put down an African American person because it helps them stay in their place. All the African American kids that I was around were all ugly looking and losers. They're all gorillas.
Just recently there was a story, and I know one of your attorneys held a news conference. There was a story about you wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial.
That is so stupid. That's the most ridiculous, horrifying story I've ever heard. It's crazy. I mean, why? Number one, it's my face as a child in the commercial. Me when I was little. Why would I want a white child to play me? I'm a black American. I'm proud to be a black American. I am proud of my race. I am proud of who I am. I have a lot of pride in who I am and dignity. That's like you wanting an Oriental person to play you as a child. Does that make sense?
No.
So please, people, stop believing these
Okay, Michael,
horrifying
then
stories.
let's go to the thing that is most discussed about you, I think, is the fact that the color of your skin is obviously different than it was when you were younger.
Yes.
And so I think it has caused a great deal of speculation and controversy as to what you have done or are doing. Are you bleaching your skin? And is your skin lighter because you don't like being black?
Okay, number one, as I know of, there is no such thing as skin bleaching. I have never seen it. I don't know what it is.
Well, they used to have those products growing up. I used to hear, always use bleach and glow, but you'd have to have about 300,000 gallons.
Okay, number one, this is the situation.
Yes.
I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
So it is.
It's a problem for me, okay? I can't control it, okay? But what about all the millions of people? Let's reverse it.
Okay.
What about all the millions of people who sit out in the sun to become darker, to become other than what they are? Nobody says nothing about that.
I identify as black.
You identify as black. Let me put a picture up of you in your early 20s, though. And when you see this picture, is this an African-American woman? Or is that a Caucasian woman?
That's not in my early 20s, but...
That's a little younger, I guess? Yeah.
I think I was 16 in that picture.
Is she a Caucasian woman or an African-American woman?
I would say that visibly she would be identified as white by people who see her.
But at the time, were you identifying yourself as African-American?
In that picture, during that time, no.